Let's do something a little historical. The KEBRA NEGESHT, the Queen of Sheba and her only son, Menelik. The Ethiopian book of the glory of kings, the glory of the Ethiopian Hebrew kings, is very important to our study and to our knowledge. You understand, as black people whose true history and culture has been suppressed. Now, before you is the Ethiopian Hebrew rendition of how King Solomon, NEGESHT Solomon, and the Queen of Sheba, their respective kingdoms and dynasties and lineage became one. The prophecy of the scripture, where these prophetic verses in the Bible point to this. So we have to study this. And this right here is an Ethiopian Hebrew rendition of the KEBRA NEGESHT, the important point of the KEBRA NEGESHT that has been suppressed but is still found by diligent study even in our holy Bibles. Now, we're going to go plate by plate or frame by frame. The first frame right here, frame 1 we'll call it, this plate 1, here King Solomon, alayhi salam, he takes the Queen of Sheba's handmaiden, her handmaid. This is the first, this is the more fuller version of the KEBRA NEGESHT story. You understand? Frame 2, plate 2, King Solomon alayhi salam and the handmaid are pictured in bed together. Now this is very important that we understand and we be mature about this. You understand? Frame 3, plate 3, here King Solomon, NEGESHT Solomon, persuades the Queen of Sheba, Makeda, to sleep with him. This is more details are found in the KEBRA NEGESHT and the glory of the kings, or also called the Queen of Sheba and only son Menelik. Here in plate 4 is King Solomon, alayhi salam, giving the Queen of Sheba, according to the Bible, 1 Kings chapter 10 verse 13, it says, all her desire. Plate 5, and the last plate that we're just going to speak about briefly and bring to your attention, is here's the wise king of Israel, King Solomon, giving the Ethiopian queen, the Queen of Sheba, NEGESHT Makeda, a special ensign jeweled ring for her child, Prince Menelik, who would by means of it prove to the world his descent, you understand, from, quote, the ruler of the land of the Jews, who was descended from King David, who descended from the blackest Jew that the world ever knew, and that is Jesse. You understand? Jesse. Now, it is without a doubt that from the ancient king of Israel, King Solomon, alayhi salam, that His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, the King of Kings of Ethiopia, the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah, the elect of God, descends. Between King Solomon and His Imperial Majesty, a line of 225 kings, giving Ethiopia the oldest, righteous, and Hebraic monarchy in the world. Know your history. But here's the question. There's still a question, and we'll address this, Yah willing, in the future pods. Here's the question that we know that from the Queen of Sheba, from NEGESHT Makeda, the Queen of Sheba, the Queen of the South, that IYESUS, that Iadonis Yehoshua even prophesies in his parabolic logical statement that he makes within the Gospels. We know that from the Queen of Sheba comes King Menelik the first, Kedamawi Menelik, Baina Lechem Ibn Hakim David II. Yet, if we study the Ethiopian rendition of the KEBRA NEGESHT, the Queen of Sheba and only son Menelik, we notice that, and we've studied other paintings of this sort from our Ethiopian Hebrew art and facts, And in our archives, we have other versions of this. Like we said, some of them have more frames, some of them have less frames. But here's what's really important. Here's what's really interesting is that we know that from the Queen of Sheba came King Menelik I, right? But then what about the other woman? Because as we study the frames and we go a little bit further in the frames, we have both women with both of their children. A very interesting frame. You understand? So here we have another seed, you understand, from King Solomon as well. There's another seed that is recorded right there. Who was that? You understand? That's what we have to explore. That's the next part of this essay and this research. So there are two women, according to our Ethiopian Hebrew tradition, according to the scrolls and the KEBRA NEGESHT, the Queen of Sheba and her son Menelik,